Is it really necessary for that old metal box to be out there in the lobby? It's not real pretty. It's a kind of an eyesore. Is it really necessary? Pastor, do we really need to support missionaries? And wouldn't that money be better served if it was kept in the coffers of the church? And I would tell you that your vision is short-sighted, because I have learned that if this church will take care of the worldwide gospel being spread, that God will take care of the needs of this church. If we are willing to break our alabaster box and say, God, everything that we have belongs to you, God will make sure that everything is taken care of here. Simon the leper, so many that were sitting there, Lazarus, who was recently raised from the dead, Mary and Martha, both of these women had had a hard time in Jewish society because of lack of equality for women with men. And then here is Jesus' disciples and Judas at the table. And of course, Jesus, who has the answer to all of their needs. There are many people who have walked into this room today, come to this table. Many different representations in this house. There's all kinds of cultures that are here today. Hispanic cultures, English cultures, Asian cultures, all kinds of cultures that are in this room today. But can I tell you that no matter what culture you come from, Jesus speaks your language. He knows who you are. And He's asking you, what are you willing to put on the table today that says, Lord, I surrender all? Or will you gather up what little bit belongs to you and go squander it somewhere outside of the security of His presence? You see, every one of us today come to the bargaining table of eternity. Is it a cup of coffee? What is it? When you find yourself at the table, this is what I have. Lord, I give you my job. I give you my marriage. I give you my kids. I give you my home. I give you my future. Lord, I even give you my ministry. I give you everything. I withhold nothing from you. I put it all on the table, and it's here. Do you know what Jesus can do with your life if you will put it all on the table? He knows if you're holding something back. You're not fooling Him. I don't fool God when I think that He doesn't know that I'm reserving a little portion for me. Well, Lord, you know, it's Sunday fun day. I don't know if I can give that up. Let me tell you, God knows every little nook and cranny of your life. And when you can put it on the table and say, Lord, and I'm not even talking about money right now, I'm talking about your life. If you can put it on the table and say, Lord, every part of me, my good, my bad, my ugly, the things that I know about me that nobody else knows, I give it to you. I bring it to the table today. Do you know what the Lord wants to do? He'll take that plate and He'll say, your little bit that you've put on the plate, your little bit that you think you have offered so much, He said, watch what I can do with it. I can double it, triple it, 100 times it. if you'll just give me the little bit that you think is so valuable to your life. If you'll bring it to the table and say, Lord, I'm holding nothing back from you. Everything. Some of you have been struggling in your marriage. Some of you have been struggling with your relationship with your spouse. Would you quit trying to figure that out and just start praying about it? Pastor, you don't know him. No, but my wife lives with one. She'll be glad to give you some counseling. You don't know her, Pastor. Sometimes I wake up grumpy and sometimes I let her sleep. Let me tell you something. If you'd start loving her the way that Christ loves the church and gave himself for it, if you'd be willing to make some sacrifices in your own personal life, I'm talking about putting everything on the table. Because when you're split in your focus, when your focus is not 100% given to the things of God, it's difficult to find peace in your spirit. But when you can take that marriage and you can put it on an altar and say, Lord, I'm not worried about you fixing him anymore. Fix me. Make me what he needs. Help me to be what she needs. If you've got the problem with that boss, you know, that guy or that girl, lady, woman, why don't you start asking God to make you into what they need? Instead of always coming and saying, God, fix them, fix them, fix them. Why don't you start saying, Lord, I'm putting me on the table today. I'm breaking my alabaster box today because, Lord, it's me. I'm the one that needs to be worked on. I'm the one that needs to be fixed. Oh, God, if you could heal me of my past, heal me of my judgmental attitude, heal me, oh, God, and give me vision and commitment and passion that I might find my mission that you have for my life. Every one of these people sitting at the table with Jesus had a storied past, as do every one of us. But only one dared break her alabaster box. In fact, it's recorded that Simon apologizes because he had not washed the feet of his guests. This woman was left to do it. Mary was left to do it with her tears. You know what the Bible says? To whom much is forgiven, he loveth much. And when we don't forget where God found us, and we don't forget that we hadn't always sat in the big chair. It's funny, you come to my house and we have dinner together at my table. I always sit on the, I think it's the head. My wife secretly probably thinks it's the tail. But I always sit at the end of the table in that chair. But Brother Thacker, it wouldn't matter to me if I sat on a bench on the side wall as long as I got a plate. What I'm trying to tell you is this, is that quit trying to push and motivate and prime yourself for the next role or the next position. Why don't you start looking for God? You've put me here. I'm just glad that you put me here. Lord, I want to give you everything. I offer to you my box. I offer to you my life. I lay it all before you. I give it all to you right now. I withhold nothing from you. Every one of us in this room has come to the place where that we understand that we need God in our lives, and nobody is exempt from that. Nobody. Turn to your neighbor and say, that means you. This woman, and I'm almost finished, but this woman, in this selfless act where she breaks that alabaster box, and she surrenders everything. I wish I'd have done the math to get really what 265 days worth of work. What do you think that'd be for you? 3/4 of a year. Put you on the spot, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah. About 80 grand, 3/4 of a year. And you say, Lord, here it is. It's better in your hands. Why? We could take that 3/4 of a year's salary. Some of you need to get a figure in your head. I'm not going to take an offering. Don't worry. Don't stress. You need to get a figure in your head and equate that to what this woman gave. And quit looking at it like it's some little ceramic bottle that pastor broke from Savers. She gave 3/4 of a year's worth of salary to him because she said, you are worth it to me. Judas, we could have taken that and given to the poor. Jesus says, you've always got the poor, but she's preparing my body for burial. She's preparing for eternity. And I ask you on this Sunday morning, what are you doing to prepare for eternity? What have you brought to the table today? A half portion? Sliver of the pie? Have you gotten it so calculated and so accounted for that you can do it on an abacus that shows him how many beads he gets and how many you get? Or have you come and said, Lord, take the whole thing. I don't want any of it. It's all yours. You take it. It's better off in your hands. And you bless me with what's left. I give you my life. Mary will be remembered forever for the choice that she made. I remember one more story about Mary and Martha. The Bible says that Jesus had come to their home, and Jesus was sitting in the living room with Lazarus, visiting, talking, and Mary sat at his feet. Martha was in the kitchen cooking. Nothing wrong with cooking. Thank you, Sister Cheryl, for those biscuits and gravy this morning. Nothing wrong with cooking. But what about when the master comes in? We close the cafe and we come to his feet. Jesus looked at Mary because she was so busy with stuff going on. Let me just meddle for about 30 seconds. Some of us get so busy doing the work of God that we forget the God of the work. Martha's in there cooking, preparing a meal for him. Jesus is here. We got to get all of this done. We got to fix all the meal, prep it, get it all ready. And she turns around and her little sister's not in the kitchen. Anybody know what that feels like? Anybody get a little bit aggravated? It's like, man, why do I have to go find her every time? Sister, where's Sister Maria McCoy? There you are. Do you know what that feels like? Is it the other way around? You're busy in the kitchen, Martha, and you turn around and Mary is at the feet of Jesus. You're like, I asked her to peel those potatoes, and they're still sitting in the sink. And you go in the living room, and there she is on the floor. Lord, does it bother you that I'm in the kitchen all by myself? Pastor, did you not notice that they left me to mop the fellowship hall by myself? You know what this is? This is the world's smallest record player, and it's playing My Heart Bleeds for You. Jesus looked at her and he said, Martha, Martha, you're cumbered about You're attached to all of this serving. But Mary hath chosen that one needful thing. Mary's chosen that one good part. And that is to bring everything she's got and put it on an altar. And say, Lord, I surrender my life. Do you know, salvation is free, but it's very costly. It will cost you to commit everything in your life to Him. I understand that sometimes that's not an easy decision to make. But when you weigh it in the balance of eternity and you look at the time clock of God and know where we are right now in the whole prophetic lineup of things, He's coming soon. Can I say that again? He's coming soon. I don't know if you can hear me out there or not today, but I'm telling you, He's coming soon. And every time you walk into this building, you sit at the bargaining table for eternity, and you bargain either with the Lord or you gather your stuff and you go bargain with the world for what is a moment of cheap thrill, what is a moment just a fleeting glimpse of happiness. I walked into the hyphen class this morning, and I asked him, I said, is everybody happy? Yeah, everybody's happy. I said, do you know that happiness is predicated on happenings? You're only happy if good things are happening to you. But there is something deeper called joy that is not predicated on outside circumstances. It's when you know that you've got everything in your life surrendered to your God, that you can say, Lord, I've laid everything on the table. It belongs to you. I am sold out. I am completely given in and surrendered to your will and to your way. Sold out. I'm not wasting anything. I'm investing it all. I'm not throwing anything away. Man, are you crazy? You're going to church again tonight? Wow. I think you might be involved in an occult. And you're giving up a second night of your week? I wonder how many nights that the world gives to entertainment. And I'm not preaching against entertainment. But I wonder how much time, if you really measured your time spent in the house of God as opposed to time spent with entertainment. On average, we've been here now for 3 hours, on an average. Our praise team and our music department got here earlier, but most of us on an average got here around 9:30. It's 12:30, 12:28, 3 hours. Do you know what happened in Cardinal Stadium yesterday? Anybody know what happened last night, Cardinal Stadium? Nobody knows? Yeah, the Monster Jam. Huh? What is that? He asked, what is that? That's where those big old trucks with those tires as big as this building jump on dirt piles taller than this building. Man, you talk about, I've been there. I spent 4 hours there, and it seemed like a moment. That wasn't enough. I was on the nosebleed section. I'm sitting up there, Brother Thacker, and I'm praying for one of them to flip over. Because they're like a crawfish on his back. And he can't get off, can't roll over. 4 hours I spent at Monster Jam, not last night, but a couple of years ago. And they don't think about it for a moment. And that's not even the only entertainment, I guarantee you, that they participated in the week. And we've been here for 3 hours, and we think, Pastor's going to preach till 1 o'clock today. I'm almost done because my body's just about there. I'm preaching all of this to tell you this. There's nothing in this life that even compares to Him. You can gather everything you've got. Your houses, your land, your cars, your boats, your toys, your bank accounts, your retirement portfolios. You can gather everything you've got and none of it compares to what He offers you. I would say today that for a comfortable retirement, that you'd need a pretty good sum of money in the bank, because Social Security doesn't pay much. For you to maintain a lifestyle of comfort and leisure and ease, that you would need a decent sum of money. Let's just say for the ease of numbers that you needed $1 million in the bank. That's a lot of money. Or is it? For $1 million, you can drive up 75th Avenue and cross over Thunderbird and drive into a gated community called Terramonte. And for $1.2 million, you can buy a beautiful 4,000 square foot home on half an acre. Trimmed out with stone veneer, the nicest of porcelain tile through the house, and some of the most beautiful fixtures that you could ever see on your sinks and your faucets, and just beautiful, beautiful. But for $1 million, those streets are not paved with gold. And the gates that you drive through are not made of pearl. And the walls that surround that neighborhood are not made of translucent diamonds. But where I'm going, I said where I'm going, everybody will be happy over there. Where I'm going, the Lamb is the light. Where I'm going to spend eternity, you can have all of the things down here, but where I'm going, it's going to be worth it all. It's going to be worth it all. Would you stand with me? Somebody wrote a song when I was a young kid. It's gonna be worth it all. It's gonna be worth it all. It's gonna be worth it all. Some beautiful, happy day. It'll be worth every long mile, every heartache and every trial. It's going to be worth every investment. It's going to be worth every Sunday morning you rolled out of bed. It's going to be worth every Monday morning that you made it a priority that He was first in your life. It's going to be worth everything that you've ever had to go through at the bargaining table for eternity. Jesus Christ is going to be worth it all. Worth it all. In this house today, there's somebody who you've wondered, is all of this really necessary? Is all of this really, do I really need to do all of this? I'll tell you this. I would rather do everything that I'm doing and get there, Sister Debbie, and find out that I did more than what He would even expect, than to cut a corner or two and get there and find out I missed it. I don't want to miss it. When I sit at the table, I want my everything laid on that table. When you look at the contrast of the life of Mary and Judas, What a great contrast. Lord, I give you all of me today. Every part of my life, I give you all. With every head bowed and every eye closed in this room. Can I tell you that if you have been on the fence wondering, maybe even considering looking for something a little less, don't sell out. Don't go to 30 pieces of silver. Go on and break the spikenard. Go on and break the alabaster box and say, Lord, I'm throwing caution to the wind. With reckless abandon, I surrender everything that I've got to your hand. I wonder today as we begin to sing, I'm going to open this altar. I wonder if there's somebody in this room today who would want to put your everything on the altar. Is there somebody who would like to make that commitment to the Lord today that says, God, I'm holding nothing back from you today. This is it. I'm putting it all on the line. Would you take a step right now and say, God, I'm bringing it to the table today. I'm going to give you all that I've got. I'm making a commitment to you right now. Come on. He's tried to blind you. He's tried to blind you. But today is your new day. This is your moment. This is your day. This is your hour.